Lots of players find themselves in a constant cycle of win and loss. It can be absolutely brutal, so today I'm going to give you a few tips to get out of that cycle and start winning games again. My name is Nate, and welcome to Blizzard Guides. This guide is going to be based off of my personal experiences and those of other players, so if some of this advice seems odd or very specific, it's just because that's what worked for me or for other players that I've talked to. Everything affects everyone differently, so just figure out what tips you think will work best for you and follow those first. You will definitely find something that will work for you though, so with that said, let's get into this video. At number 5, you're just too focused on the small details of your team. Here's a situation that I hear a lot of players tell me about. They hop into a match and they have 3 DPS insta-lock. They hop into voice and they start asking for swaps. And while this can work for some of your teams, a lot of the times, especially when you're in a cycle of win and loss, you end up just trying to externalize those losses onto your teammates and blame them for stuff like, if only we didn't run triple DPS we could have won, or if only that person wasn't on that one hero we would have won that game. And while this is definitely true sometimes, a lot of the time it isn't really going to matter, and it's just bringing it up that actually is the real issue. Unless you're at upper masters, the fact of the matter is that it doesn't matter what comps you run. A lot of players get too fixated on having 2-2-2 to the point that it just decides whether or not they try their best. Rather, what you should be doing is just figuring out what teammate is going to be doing the most work and having the most value, and making plays that form a symbiotic relationship between you and them, where you make plays to create space for them and they make plays that are mutually beneficial to you too. What I've learned from climbing is that in all of my games, the comp really didn't matter until I was reaching the top of the ladder. Rather, what really impacted my games were the coordinated plays that I could make with my teammates. For example, if I play a lot of Ryan, I'm going to want to help my Zarya to get charge, extend with my DPS that the team maybe thinks is overextending too much, and make plays to protect and prop up those weaknesses that I can fix. If my McCree is frontlining a lot, I'm going to play in such a way that I either drag the attention away from him, or I start playing in a way that I can protect him with, or at the very least confirm his kills and just make a little bit more space using that damage that he dealt before he died. If he isn't doing well, then I stop helping him and just prop up the next teammate. Similarly, if I'm on Widow and my Ryan is constantly overextending, bodyshotting the targets that he's extending to kill can be super beneficial. And rather than going for a single skill shot pick that might be a little bit valuable, going for a body shot pick to help our Ryan clean up kills is going to be more helpful in the long run. Instead of fixating on a specific comp, fixate on what you can do as a player on that role to help your team get wins. At number 4, it's simply just getting tilted after the team's first loss. You win a game and then you come to the next game and instantly lose first point, and you immediately set yourself into the mentality that you're instantly going to lose this match and continue the cycle. You play with the notion that you're going to have to pick up all of the work for your teammates, and then you just end up trying to be the jack of all trades, master of none. This is something that I see way too often. If your team isn't winning the round, it doesn't mean that you're losing the game. Rather, if your team is failing at the push, it could just mean that your team needs some minor structural changes, or that you need some minor mentality changes. If your team isn't winning, rather than trying to pick up what your teammates are failing at, try and focus on what your role should be doing and how you can pick up what you're doing wrong. I see a lot of support players, especially inexperienced ones, try and switch to DPS or do more damage whenever their team stops winning, whether or not it's conscious. They try and do everything at once for their team, when in reality they should just focus on doing their job even more and at a better pace. If your first reaction is to switch off your role to go to another role that you think is failing, then you have this mentality issue and you need to start focusing on your role and playing what you should do. If you're thinking about how your teammates are failing, chances are that you're also going to start making decisions that your teammates should be making. Start focusing on your own role and its jobs, and you'll start doing a lot better in your games. At number 3, it's simply just remembering that some games aren't up to you. If all else fails and you've done what you can, just remember this one simple thing. 33% of the games you just can't win. 33% of the games you just can't lose. And 33% of the games are completely your fault. If you're getting 5 solo kills per fight and your team dies to one enemy, and then you start focusing that one enemy and leave the Lucio for your team and your team dies to the Lucio, there's not much more that you can do there. Some games are games that you cannot win no matter what. but. In some games, you're going to get teammates that are so good that you can't do anything that would make them lose, provided you just don't AFK and spawn. However, if you find that you get all of those cannot win games constantly, then it just may be the fact that you're not actually doing as much as you should be. If you're in a cycle of win-loss, it just might simply mean that you're complacent and not actually making plays that win games. Those 33% of games that are completely up to you, you simply just only fill your role and play it safe and don't do anything that provides significant enough of an advantage to win. This could be simply because you're not skilled enough, it could be that your mentality is off, and it could be just that you're hungry on some days and not on others. However, regardless of what it is, it comes down to the fact that you need to really be doing something that is more on top of what players at your rank do. If you feel that you simply can't make plays because of lack of skill, learn something new for your hero. Learn a new technical ability, practice your aim, focus on not dying, or something like that. You need to do things to improve yourself mentally and mechanically so that you can actually begin to do better than the norm at your rank. And for those games that you are legitimately not able to win, just remember that the next game is going to be one that you can change and begin to climb with. At number 2, a bit of a shorter one, you just might need to find a better queue time. I've said it before on this channel, sometimes if you queue right after you get off work or right out of school, you're going to get bad games and games where you tilt faster. Try and queue when you think that more dedicated players are going to be playing, or when you have just greater amounts of free time. If you think that you're getting queue times where it's consistently really good or really bad, but it's never actually kind of in the middle and it's just really volatile, it could simply just be the time that you queue at. Try and play something at a different time. Try a new time that you don't normally play at and just shift up your schedule a little bit if it really matters that much to you. It can help a lot. Personally, for me, it actually made a huge difference and helped me to climb a significant amount. And last but not least, at number 1, you're just playing sessions that you need to change up a bit. I found that whenever I played more than 8 to 9 matches at a time, I would almost always end up at the same rank that I left at. If you're in this cycle a lot, you need to make sure that your mentality doesn't change drastically over time. Try and play more or less and see if that helps. It could just be that you're starting to go into autopilot when you play too much, which is something that you can mitigate by simply pausing 10 minutes between matches, or it could be that you're exhausted. If you find that you lose your first matches and start winning more after you play longer, try warming up more beforehand. If you find that you're losing more, try and clear out your mentality by taking short breaks. It kind of just works like that. Figure out how queuing for longer or shorter affects you as a player and adjust the way you play so that these things don't affect you. For example, if you only queue for a few games and you never know whether you're going to win or lose, just queue longer whenever you start winning more and stop queuing whenever you lose more. Something simple like that, and it's very obvious. It's 100% super obvious, but a lot of players don't do anything about it. You can just try making these changes and see how longer or shorter queue times help to make sure that you win games more consistently. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you hated this video, feel free to tell me why in the comments so that I can make the next guide even better. If you really liked it, tell me why you enjoyed it, and drop a like so that I know what to keep in the videos. If you want more of Blizzard guides, be sure to get subscribed so that you don't miss our uploads, and if you want to talk more about this game and these guides, hop on over to our Discord by following the link below so that you can be a member of the Blizzard Guides community. Also, be sure to check out our new Twitter and our Instagram to get the latest updates on this channel. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.